Welcome. I'm Dee, and this is a Single Mom Unguided Life, where I try to navigate through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. This is my November budget setup. Yes, November is approaching. Yes. So we need to go ahead and get into it. We need to tell our money what to do before it try to tell us what it's going to do. As always, I start with my Ray Dunn planner. It's a simple planner here. And let's just go to November. Oops, we're already in December. All right, so let me make sure this is good and in frame. So my November budget actually goes from October 23rd to December 3rd. The reason for that is that I will be receiving 3 paychecks that's going to be dedicated for my November budget. I'm a bi-weekly earner, which means I get paid every other week, and I receive what's considered a bonus check 2 months out of the year. According to my employer's payroll, that should fall into January and July, but according to my budget, that falls into July, in November, and or December, depending on how the days fall. But here we go. So for my employer, I've been receiving a paycheck on the 23rd of October, November 6th, and November 20th. I also will now be receiving a monthly stipend, and I'll be receiving that on the first of the month, and so that will be also included. So going forward, when I do my monthly budgets, it will be 3 paychecks 10 months out of the year, 4 paychecks 2 months out of the year. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the bills itself. Because of the date that I'm budgeting, I have not received notification of when a particular bill is due and or how much is actually due. So for the internet, I know it's going to be $59.99. The change should start. I should get notification next month about what this should be going up to, either next month or in December. But I know it's like soon. It gives me enough time to call to try to get this to stay the same or lower. Then for the phone bill, I have not received a notification of when it's due, but I haven't received anything stating that there's going to be any taxes or surcharge changes. Therefore, $142.94 is what I've been paying, and then I paid that on the 15th of last month, so I'm just going to put it on the 15th of this month. I haven't received anything about my cable at this time because there has been adjustments to my cable bill because I did cancel the premium channel because the show I was watching decided that it wanted to take a hiatus, and it will return back in December. There was no reason for me to keep paying for a premium channel and I'm not watching anything. So I went ahead and estimated this to be $26. It can be more or less. I don't know until I get that notification. My medical debt, I haven't received notification as of yet. Therefore, I placed it on the date that I paid last month, and the amount I have been paying monthly is $60.58. For the insurance, I haven't received notification. The amount monthly is $132.66, and I did not forget my credit card number 2 this time. And what I'm actually doing is paying more than the minimum at this moment because I did make a purchase, and I want to make sure that I'm in line to paying this off before we start looking into next year budget. Here, the medicine, I went ahead and moved that to $30 because my regular medicine is creeping up each month. So I'm not really sure, and it's always like call the healthcare insurance provider. I'm like, no, y'all should be able to tell me how much they paid and I paid and so on and so forth. I shouldn't have to wait on hold. So I'm just going to put it at $30, hoping that it does not go over $30, but that's where we're at. I will be paying tithes 4 times, do my tithes and offers 4 times this month because I get paid 4 times, and then I have my subscription at 99 cents. So that's where we're sitting at in regards to our setup for our calendar. Now let's talk a little bit more about our monthly budget overview. As always, I start with my financial goals. And the first thing that I want... Okay, so my financial goals. The first financial goal that I want to work on is my check-in buffer. In the past, what I've been doing is just taking $50 from my unbudgeted and quote unquote designating for the check-in buffer. But to be quite honest, it really was not effective in a way that I thought it was going to be, because I was not putting in anywhere else. So because of that, I decided I needed to work towards a goal, and I'm going to actually work towards a goal of $715. That $715 is actually the highest bill amount that I have, and therefore I wanted it to fall in line with that. So with that being said, I'm going to be working towards that goal this month in order to ensure that I have that buffer, and when I reach that buffer, then I'll move on. The second financial goal that I want to work on is, of course, debt. And we're still working on our medical consolidation loan. And what I'm doing at this time is making sure that I'm setting the proper goal, because one, I want to be able to pay this particular bill off within this year. So I set a $275 goal for October. So what I'm going to do going forward is still, for my debt, I am going to put $275 towards the medical debt as well. Now that it's definitely coming from my side gig, but it's still a goal that I want to have in the forefront. So when I am making purchases, I know that I have a goal to work towards. Lastly, planners is another financial goal. I find that I need a planner for my content for YouTube, so I know when to film, edit, and release, as well as I'm finding that I also need a planner for my budgeting. So I will be looking for some up and coming planners and making decisions this month. Right now, I'm just filling out the expense tracker, just taking the information from the calendar, and currently just filling out the due dates and the amounts that corresponds with each expense. One thing I forgot to mention, that the equipment that I've been paying on monthly, this will actually be the last payment that I've been making on this equipment, and it is going to be $23.13. Yay! So I will no longer be dishing this out and it be coming back to me, and so that's not a lot, but it's some money going back into my pocket that I can allocate towards things for my household. And I think that was the only thing that I wanted to discuss at this time. What I'm going to do is something I hadn't done before, and I'm actually going to calculate this prior. Okay, so the total of this is $2,376.59. As also always, we need to actually break down our paychecks to know what goes where. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this to the side. But before doing so, I almost forgot that I need to actually dedicate. I think I'm going to do yellow and blue. So, let me do. Yeah, we can do that. So I know that for the first paycheck, it's going to be rent, the payers plan, and internet. It won't be the streaming because the streaming is automatic and it falls in the second paycheck. So I'm not going to include that here. We're going to do the life insurance, electric, and a credit card. So right now I'm just color coding my paycheck. So paycheck 1 is blue, and so I'm highlighting all of the expenses that will be coming out for paycheck 1. For paycheck number 2, which is the stipend, only thing that would be coming out would be the tithes and offerings, so that is going to be yellow. For paycheck number 3, which is a regular paycheck, that is going to be green, and I'm going to highlight every other expense, not every other, but the remaining expenses that are left in green, as well as the tithes and offering. And then for the last check, which is the bonus check, the only thing that comes out will be tithes and offering in this section. So now that we have that situation, now we can move this to the side because now we're going to break down. So for the budget pre-plan, for the first paycheck is blue. And I might as well just slide that there. Blue. And we see this is all of the blue items that we need to take that from our sheet here. So we're going to calculate and see how much we have remaining. I do apologize that I'm out of frame so you can't see the top of this page. At the top, it just shows the date that I will receive the check, which will be October 23rd, and the expected income. And I always use a base of $1,600. Regardless if I know that I'm going to get paid more, I just base it at $1,600, and I'm just subtracting those expenses from that budgeted income amount. So we're left with $393.48. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to see what we're sending to each of our cashless envelope categories and our sinking funds. So for fund money, it's going to be $25, nothing to give. Groceries is $180 because it's the beginning of the month. Household, we're going to send $40. I'm just going to send $25 to personal. For restaurants, I am going to send $20. Gas is $30, car maintenance is $25, property is $0, nothing to Papa, vacation, or medical. I do apologize, I'm out of frame, but I'm just taking a $393.48 and I'm minusing each of the cashless envelopes and sinking fund categories. So after I subtract fund money, I have $368.48. After I subtract groceries, I have $188.48. After household, I have $148.48. After I subtract personal, I have $123.48. After I subtract restaurants, I have $103.48. After I subtract gas, I have $73.48. And after I subtract car maintenance, I have $48.48. All right, so $48.48 is left after this check. So I will receive the second check on November 1st of $142.29. The only thing that's coming out of this particular check is tithes and offering of $14.29. So I'm just subtracting that from the total to get what is left to allocate, which is $128. Now for check number 3, which is green, that check is going to be on 11/6, and that's $1,600. This check is, the fourth check is going to be on the 20th, and it's going to be $1,600. So let's see what we have after each one of our bills. $4.22 that is left for the third check bills. So for our categories here, we're going to send the same amount for fun money, gifts 0, groceries is going to be $160, household is going to be $40, personal is $100, restaurants is $20, gas I'm actually going to put $60, car maintenance is $25, property is $15, nothing to Papa, vacation or medical. So let's see what we have. So $159.22 is left of the third check. So the last check that I will be receiving is going to be pink, and we start off with $1,600 and we pay our tithes and offering. So that's $1,440 that is left and we need to allocate. Now for me, when I have the third check or the bonus check, I double my cash envelopes and my sinking funds, and or adjust in a way where it makes sense that this category has more than it normally has. So for me, for the fun money, I'm going to send $50. Because this is the check before the holidays, and I primarily start doing my holiday shopping during this time, I am going to dedicate $300 towards gifts. For groceries, I'm just going to do $100 because we're going to be away for at least 4 days. And to be quite honest, when I go on vacation, I honestly need a rest before I go on vacation and a rest when I come back. Therefore, I don't foresee myself cooking at all leading up to the holiday and returning. So that's why I made the groceries at $100. For household, we're going to do $80. For personal, I'm going to put $100 because this also includes the things that I would need for the trip. Restaurants, I am going to do $100, and that is because that also includes the trip. Gas, I am going to do $100 because I need to include the fee for parking for my car. So yes. And then for car maintenance, we're going to do $50. For property, $30, and I am sending $500 to my son's vacation, my son's sinking fund, and this will actually top off this particular sinking fund. My goal was to at least make sure I had dedicated a total of $1,000 to his fund, and I was able to put $500 in July, and I've been using that to pay his different various fees, and as well as things that he would need for his senior year. And I'm topping it off at the $500 so we can move towards the second semester and whatever that's needed for that. So now let's see what we have after we take away from those categories. $30 will be remaining out of this paycheck. All right, so now that we did that, okay, so now that we've done that, it's time for us to determine what we have left over and what we need to do with that. So for paycheck number 1, we have $48.48. For paycheck number 2 is $128. For paycheck number 3, it's $159.22. For paycheck number 4, we have $30. I didn't have a paycheck 5 extra income. I don't know about the extra income until it comes, and I do not include my side gig income here. So we're just going to calculate that total. Okay, so I'm back. I was getting some strange calls and I'm not sure what's going on. So I want to definitely finish up with this just in case the person called back and they need my assistance. So what I was saying is that this is the amount that was left over for each check. They gave a total of $365.70. So what I am actually going to do with that $365.70 is I am going to dedicate a portion to savings, and that's going to be $150. And then I'm going to take that $215.70 and I'm actually going to put that in my buffer. This time around, as far as debt, extra debt, that will not be coming out of my personal, my checks that I receive from my employer at this time, because I'm using my side gig income to fund the debt category. So this is where we at in regards to that. So now we can make our way back over here and we can start filling this information out. Now for the income, we have the 1600 times 3, 1600 times 3. So that's 4,800 because I get paid 3 times plus the 142.29. So that's $4,942.25. Now we do have a rollover of $285.75 plus the buffer of $215.70. Excuse me, $285.75 is what we are bringing over for the rollover. We're going to take that $285.75 and then we're going to add it to the $215.70. That's going to give me the check-in buffer of $501.45. I will not be pulling anything from my savings. So that $4,942.25 plus the $285.75. Oh, excuse me. I said 25, but this should be 29. So that's $5,228.09. I'm glad I caught that. If I'm like, where's that 9 cent at? So that's 29. Okay, so this is what I have to be working with for the month. These are the expenses, the bills itself. Now, as far as the cashless envelopes, for the first paycheck, I have 290 that's I'm sending to that category. The second paycheck is 345. Excuse me, the third paycheck is 345 in the the fourth check is $730, so that's $1,365. For sinking funds, the first check is $55. The second check is nothing. The third check is $100, and then the fourth check is $680, so that's $835 that I'll be sending to that category. For savings, I'm sending $150, and nothing is going to extra debt. So we already know that the income is $5,228.09 because it comes from there. Now we're going to total up all of these categories to see if they zero out, because I like every dollar to have a place. I ensure that when I'm budgeting at the beginning and the end, that I am getting every dollar accounted for. And there is 5 cents that's hiding somewhere. Let's see, 285.75. So that is right. So let me see where that 5 cent is actually hiding, everybody. 5 cent is hiding here. This should be 04. I don't know. I made it 09 because I was missing the 9, but it was actually only missing the 5. So let's go back. So we have 5,228.04 is the total income. So we have 1365, 835, 150, 501.45, and then 2376.59, and every dollar is accounted for my budget. So that is how I set up my monthly budget. Usually I go to do the budget review. I fill that sheet out and show at this time, but I decided to go ahead with this sheet as a way to accomplish my goal of filling out these categories, and then only presenting that budget review sheet when it's time to do a budget review. So for my check-ins, they usually go from Friday to Thursday of the next week. So I'm just showing you how the weeks are broken up. I will be doing 6 weeks starting October 23rd going to December 3rd. That goes for my weekly check-in for my sinking funds as well. Now for the spending tracker and the transaction log, those are monthly tracking. So those go from October 23rd to December 3rd. And you'll see that I'm just showing that as the pages I've already set up for my budget planner. Budget pre-plan after all of the extra sheets for this budget. And then of course I have my emergency fund progress sheet, my monthly debt update sheet, the side income, and the ledger for that. I'm so glad that I was able to show you how I budget my bonus checks that I receive twice a year. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you to hit that subscribe button to become part of my village. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. Everyone, go ahead and hit that thumbs up so you can see continued content from me. As always, please share with your family, friends, and co-workers. Peace out.